Welcome to Best of Three. This is an esports podcast by Organized Gaming. I'm Mike.
I'm Alex.
I'm Stevan.
If you're listening to this on the day that it's out, it's Canadian Thanksgiving. Yay!
Yeah.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
I'm thankful.
What does this mean for Best of Three? Well, we're gonna take a little bit of time to chill out and sit by the fire and reminisce.
You hear
about,
that crackle?
Oh, yeah,
it's beautiful.
I love it. We're gonna reminisce about all that we had to be thankful for over the past year.
Do you feel it?
Or
the thankfulness?
At least that was what we were going to do. We're going to kind of push that to the end now.
Cut a DJ scratch in there.
Yeah.
Before that, we need to talk about something.
This is pretty big.
It is pretty big. Breaking news.
Honestly, I was going to save this episode for just a nice casual talk between the four of us with Chris, who you're going to hear from later. But there have been some developments with one Blizzard Entertainment, and I'm sure some of you guys may have.
It's getting chilly all of a sudden. There was a nice fire, and now I'm getting cold.
Chilly. So, what I want to do, I'm gonna catch everybody up on what happened. I'm gonna catch everybody up on what's happening, and we're gonna chat about it from there. So let's jump into that.
We're gonna chitty chatty up.
We're gonna chitty chatty up. So what happened? Oh man. So there's a player by the name of Blitzchung. He's a Hearthstone player. Essentially, to break it down into such a small sentence, Blizzard Entertainment banned Blitzchung from competing for one year. He also took away his $3,000 US worth of prize money. The reason is that in a post-match interview, he put on a gas mask, and I showed you guys the video earlier.
Yeah.
And he said, to translate, liberate Hong Kong, revolution of our age. The casters kind of hid down for a bit, and then they cut to commercial.
Yeah.
So not only has Blitzchung been banned for a year for competing, but also the two casters have been
both
fired.
been fired.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm paraphrasing, but Blizzard's tournament rules state that players aren't allowed to engage in any act that offends a group of people or damages Blizzard's image. Now, before we kind of jump into this, I want to preface this whatever conversation comes next with the fact that we're not going to pretend to know anything about the dynamic going on between Hong Kong and China, any of the political or geographical locations.
I mean, we live in Canada. This isn't, we're definitely separated from
we just see what's going on in esports, and we just see what's going on with the company. So with that being said, Blizzard, they came at it saying that they respect freedom of speech, but players do need to abide by the rules, which there have been people who have agreed with that. One of which being Brian Kibler. Have you heard of Brian Kibler before?
I have not. Who is that?
So Brian Kibler, he's a pretty predominant name in Hearthstone. He's a really big streamer. He casts certain events.
What's his stream name?
I think it's just Kibler or B Kibler.
That sounds kind of familiar.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway,
he's really popular, but anyway, he comes on to the Grandmasters to kind of fill in for casting every now and then, and he put out a statement saying that he agrees that Blitzchung did something very brave, and he, much like what we just did, he said that he doesn't know much about what's going on in Hong Kong and China.
It's a complex topic.
It is very. And
super polarizing one too.
Right. But Blitzchung doing what he did, like he knew, and everybody knew that there would be consequences to him, making an action like that. But he and a lot of people think that kind of the whole package that Blizzard gave him for that as a punishment was, quote, unwarranted and unfair.
Well, yeah, they really threw down that ban hammer hard.
They did.
That was
I have to agree with that a little bit, that it was a little harsh. After watching the clip that you showed us, it did also seem that it seemed like he just got a little too comfortable and thought it was like a joke kind of thing.
Yeah.
Even though he might believe in that like wholeheartedly and stuff like that, it did seem kind of like a, a little bit of like
I disagree.
an
It was
interaction.
premeditated. I mean, it wasn't a joke. Like he had the mask and everything. It was definitely something that he thought of beforehand. Not like
I
a
just meant like
joke that
the chemistry between the casters and him, and like the laughing.
right. They were kind of laughing.
It was
while-
kind of
yeah,
like it wasn't like super serious. You know what I mean?
yeah. It wasn't like a Kanye West moment. Like
yeah, exactly.
George Bush does not like black people type situation.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was very much like a. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Not super serious. He wasn't like standing there at an interview, not saying anything, and then ripped off his mask. And like, it was just like there was some sort of thing going on there.
There was a thing going on. Exactly.
And maybe that's why he feels like it's a little harsh.
For sure.
Um,
And I mean, there are some people who agree with it though, right? Like they say that it was in Blizzard's rules beforehand and it was a clear, and after having seen it, like it was a clear violation of the rules.
Definitely.
yeah, 100%. That's
Blizzard is
unarguable.
100% in their right to give a punishment for breaking this rule.
I mean, I would say that there would be even more backlash had they not done anything about it. Had they not acknowledged it.
I
think that, yeah. I
Okay, so let's
I actually don't even think it would be reported if they didn't do anything about it.
There's always the chance that it's not, but if anybody were to, cross-reference their policy with what happened, then, people could be pretty strong whistleblowers in that kind of situation.
That's true.
Wait. So
but what I will
backlash.
Say, well,
okay. Sorry.
What I will say though, and to kind of piggyback off of what again Kibler's been saying, I think it's the level of which Blizzard came down that everybody has a problem with. I think everybody understands that when you're given a public platform like that, and when Blizzard is the one who is hosting you, there is a level of professionalism that you kind of need to bring to the table.
Most definitely.
Yeah. So sorry, what were you gonna say?
I wanted to know, like what does this backlash look like? If we could just like explain to the listeners. Yeah.
We were also talking about it before the podcast. This topic is so relevant right now and so polarizing. Like if he said something about Nazis and he got the ban hammer, nobody would be batting an eye. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But because it's such a like big thing right now.
Well, it happened to PewDiePie.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but PewDiePie is like a different situation. He didn't say that he was a Nazi. You know what I mean? It's different than being like, Hail Hitler. You know what I mean? Like, and meaning it.
Right.
I would say that basically what I'm saying is it's so relevant that Blizzard is kind of put in this really awkward situation where they're damned if they do and they're damned if they don't.
Yeah.
They have to follow their rules and they have to, go down on this guy pretty hard to, kind of set that precedent. And if they don't do it, then, you still get screwed over pretty hard.
Yeah.
Well,
exactly.
and that's I want to get into that
the
backlash to sort of explain sort of the damned if you do and damned if you don't, right?
So where we are right now, and this is a few days before this is going to come out. So this is still an ever evolving story, but people are uninstalling all of their Blizzard programs from their computers. They're deleting their accounts. Blizzard stock took a bit of a dip. It's not really having too much of a problem right now, but it definitely over the past day that it came out, Blizzard stock dipped. It's having a really big impact online, and it's bringing a lot of people's attention to the whole situation that's happening in Asia, which, has its share of good in the form of awareness and bad in the form of, negative press.
So people are uninstalling their games.
Yes.
They're tweeting and, like in Reddit, all of these things where
They're
I'm
trying to
unsubscribing.
boycott Blizzard.
They want to boycott Blizzard. Yeah. The reason that they're doing all of these things is because Blizzard has sort of a policy of everyone matters. Yeah. And like, we care about you. Let's, unite through gaming on all of these things. Like they have some core values. And it seems like they're really just going against those values where there's like sort of censoring something that's such an important topic in the world right now.
Right. And it's not just a thing that's talked about all over the world. Like even within Blizzard's company itself. There's a popular image kind of going around right now that people have been circulating of a statue in the Blizzard building from World of Warcraft, with a plaque kind of on the bottom of it that says "Every voice matters" and "Think globally." Those two plaques have been by certain employees covered with paper.
They're not. They're seemingly contradicting their own values.
Yeah. Well, exactly.
What do you guys think about this, though? Do you think that, like, given any situation, right? This one, I think this situation is super specific, but given any other situation, do you think that Blizzard did what was fair, and it's fair for us to kind of give them shit for what they did?
If somebody breaks the rules, they should punish these players for breaking these rules. Where the problems lie is that Tencent, which is a Chinese company, owns what, like, I don't know,
5%.
5% of Blizzard, and Blizzard is seemingly protecting their business interests in China.
Yeah,
and people think that they're choosing, money over their core values.
I think so.
And that's where a lot of the backlash lies.
Do you think it's just like a public perception, or do you think this is actually happening?
I think there's some people who can kind of read into it and find pretty much what you're saying. I think there's a large section of the internet who kind of bandwagons with this popular trend, and
I think that's pretty common nowadays, right?
Yeah.
Something happens, you read into the situation too much, you're trying to like connect dots that don't really exist, and all of a sudden you're just like coming up with these.
Well, there's a lot of people also who don't look into it and don't connect the dots and jump on a bandwagon.
Exactly.
So there's both.
Yeah, like the fake news train or whatever.
Right.
I mean, this is real news, but whatever, you add on top of it could be
exactly like
fake.
We
story,
don't know. The story gets, what's the word? Conflated. People bring in their own versions of it, and then other news places pick up on other people's versions of the story.
It's like broken telephone.
The whole thing
on a plague level.
Exactly. The whole thing. It just becomes, as we say in the industry, yucky. Is that what we say in the industry? I mean, is it against Blizzard's policy? Yes. Should that rule be there? Absolutely, as you mentioned. But
so, what do you think a more appropriate sort of consequence would be?
A more appropriate consequence
for
so he won this tournament, right?
He won the tournament. It was like a winner's interview.
Oh, it was a winner. So he literally right at the end done goofed.
Yes.
I think the fact that he has been.
Do you think that he
would
have
exiled from Hearthstone is kind of one of the bigger issues?
He got canceled by Blizzard.
He got canceled.
That's pretty bad.
He got canceled.
Like he's done. He's pretty done. I don't know. You think he'll be back in a year?
I don't know.
I don't know if I'd want to come back after that as a player, but what do you think a more appropriate punishment would have been?
I think if you just don't send him away, if you say you can compete, try again next time, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So taking away his prize earnings, that
I didn't
to me,
like
between the two things of letting him not compete for a year and taking away his prize earnings. If you're going to do one of those, take away his prize earnings.
Yeah,
let him compete. Let him prove himself, and the next time that he can be more professional, and he is allowed to have his opinions, just not on a Blizzard sanctioned stream.
Right.
And I don't think that this is what Blizzard is saying by effectively canceling him. They're not saying that he isn't allowed to have these opinions.
They just don't want it on Blizzard's
they're saying
streams.
Like this isn't the place to do that.
Yeah.
And they've put that in their rules because of that.
Yeah. So
I also don't like that they took his prize money.
Okay, so
I think they could have taken his prize money. Let him compete, though. He can make that money back, and it's going to be a financial hit for him. He'll maybe learn his lesson.
I don't know. I find it super uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. Like that if you're a player, right, and you've done all these things to practice, win, and compete, and you make a mistake, and all of a sudden they take away your prize money. It's not like he cheated. It's not like he did anything that has anything to do with the game.
Right. He went against the rules.
At the end of the tournament, it was over.
It's
like
still,
he went against the rules, but he did it
So what should they have done?
Like maybe they should suspend him for a month or whatever, but not take away his earnings. You know, his speech or whatever he said has nothing to do with, you know, his play, what he did. I think that's messed up. Like all these stories about people, you know, the first thing is like take away the money.
Yeah.
I think that's a weird punishment, man. Like this could be his livelihood. This could be whatever.
I suppose, but if I'm Blizzard right now and I'm thinking of what policy to put in place, if I have somebody who's going to come in and compete, and they're like this like seasoned competitor, and they've basically finished their career, and they just want to leave on one hard hitting, politically charged note, then you win your tournament, you get your money, and you then say, take a deep breath, and big political bomb you drop right there at the end, and I'm out. Exactly. And you get a ton of people who would do that. And I don't think I want to be the company who facilitates that, you know? And
I think that's reading into it.
No, I think that's...
I don't know if there would be like copycats being like, oh, if I win the next tournament, I'm gonna...
Not a copycat, but if
people can find that loophole and then nothing would happen to them.
So, like, I think a combination of both, take away his prize money and give him like a 1 month ban, something like that.
Yeah.
Or take away a piece of it. I don't know. I hate this.
You can't. I think it needs to be the whole prize pool or the whole prize.
So who does it go to? The second place person? Does he get like technically disqualified and then whatever?
That I'm not quite sure of.
I don't know. Did it go back into the prize pool? Did they keep it? That's not something that I think was widely
also
talked about.
Would he also have had the backlash if he didn't say anything and he just had the mask on?
So the mask has actually been banned in China. You're not allowed to wear that mask in China.
Oh,
yeah. So if he was directly in China, like he may or may not have been doing something illegal just wearing the mask, right? So
yeah.
These are all things that you take into consideration. So
yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. So that's Blizzard. we needed to honestly we needed to talk about it.
Yeah, it was such a big topic that's happening right now that we couldn't really ignore it. I don't know a ton of what's happening between Hong Kong and China.
Yeah.
But this is something that directly affects esports now. So
for
it's something that I wanted to
when it's kind of seeping into
it's also a good note for anyone that's competing or talent. Like,
educate yourself on what's going on.
You can tweet whatever you want. You know what I mean? But if you're at an event and you're on somebody else's production, keep yourself professional.
Yep.
It's not fair to the people that are under the production. It's not fair to the people who are developing the games or whatever, because now all of a sudden, whatever you said is tied to them. If it's on your own platform, do whatever you want, but don't bring your, stuff into other people's image.
I do think that I want to say this in two parts. One, I think it is 100% fine for people to have their opinions, and they're fine to express their opinions. And I think everybody's saying the same thing with that. They're just saying, do it on your own time, do it with your own crowd. That's not what we're building. But the second part to that is that I feel like, oh no, it's gone.
It'll come back.
It'll do it. I will. The second part to that, I feel like there are more professional ways to go about bringing up your beliefs if you're on a stream like that.
Oh yeah, for sure. Even saying like, do you guys mind if I just, or just talking about it in general.
If you talk about it,
like I have something really important to say, and you say it in like a polite way.
I think the fact that it was such a like exclamation point, like
I can agree with that.
Which, again, on your own time, more power to you. But that's not the place for you to be wildly creative and dynamic with your speech.
Yeah, and it doesn't help the scene. Honestly, it doesn't help esports.
Right.
With the unprofessionalism, like it doesn't set a good example.
Yeah.
This is not what esports is striving to be.
Yeah.
and these types of things don't help with that.
Right. Okay. So again, we needed to talk about it, but now let's get back to Canadian Thanksgiving, guys. This is the most important time of the year. So we're gonna.
What are you thankful for?
Exactly. Well,
not getting banned for a year.
Well, we're gonna talk about all that when we come back from the break. So stick around. We'll see you in a little bit, and that's all for now. See you soon. All right, welcome back, everybody. We're here in the studio today with Chris. Chris, how you doing?
Hello. Very well. How you guys doing?
Yeah, we're doing amazing.
It's nice to be back.
And you know what? Today, for those of you who are listening right as the episode came out, today is Canadian Thanksgiving. Air horn, air horn, air horn. Turkey air horn. And so we've been like a family, guys, right?
Yeah, we're a family.
This is the OG family.
I just read
OG
an article
family.
about how people think that work is the new God, how people treat it as like a religion. Because you look to your work for purpose and meaning in life and all that, and you surround yourself with the culture. So it is kind of like a family.
Interesting.
That's
I'd
beyond
never
a
heard
family. That's just we're all in the same religion.
Yeah. This is a cult. This isn't a job. This is a cult.
I'm accepting donations for this church.
I'm looking forward to the Kool-Aid.
Not bad. There it is. And so I thought what we could do, let's go around this little table that we have here, and let's talk about what we're thankful for, guys.
Nothing.
Oh. But of course, this is an esports podcast. You see how I just moved on there? I'm learning. Because this is an esports podcast, I do want to keep it somewhat esports related. So I did ask you guys before this recording to come up with 2 things that you're thankful for. One that's esports related, one that is not necessarily esports related, so that we can make it a little bit more personal, more the real us behind the curtain MTV.
People can learn about us a little bit.
Exactly. So, does anybody here want to start?
I say Alex should start.
Oh, I knew that was coming.
Whenever Steven's the first one to talk, you know that you're coming like immediately after.
All right, so what do you want, esports or non-esports first?
I want esports first.
All right, esports first. What am I thankful for in esports?
Yes.
Free to play.
Oh.
I am so thankful for free to play.
That's a good one.
That's a good one.
There's so many games that I would not have played if it wasn't free.
Like what?
I mean, Dota was free, but if I had to start paying for it, if there was like a monthly subscription or something, like I would be.
It would have been harder to get into it.
Yeah,
right.
Definitely. And now Counter-Strike has gone free to play. There are other games that are free to play. I'm a huge fan of pay what you want.
Free to play.
Right. There you go.
Yeah,
pay what you want.
Yeah, like Pokemon Go. I play a ton of Pokemon Go, and I've spent money on it, but also I can not spend money on it.
Right. You've chosen to spend money on it.
Exactly, and it feels a lot better doing it. You know,
it's kind of cool to be able to decide when a game deserves your money.
Yeah, exactly.
And if it's good, there's a pretty good chance that you're going to spend a lot of money on it. If it's free, because you're already hooked. You're playing.
Exactly.
If I paid for a game, honestly, if I paid for Dota, it would have cost, $60 when I first got it. I've probably spent, $500 to $1,000 on that game, somewhere in there. And over the years,
if I had to buy Dota, I probably would have never spent anything on it.
Exactly.
Right.
Why, I've already paid for this game. Why am I putting more money into it? Yeah.
That's true. Why pay money for something you've already paid money for? You've done that already. You front loaded your payment.
Exactly. Exactly. So I'm super, super thankful for free to play. And also because then I get to spend my money on cool skins.
Right.
Give me the hats. Give me the hats.
Now I have $60 to spend in my gaming budget.
What? Wisp can turn into a cube? Give me that.
Yeah, exactly. I want that. I need that.
Give me that.
That's it. Awesome. Okay. And so what's your other thing?
I mean, it's going to be pretty cheesy and generic,
Please.
but yeah, I'm definitely thankful for you guys.
Aww.
Believing in organized gaming.
Work is a religion. Work is a religion.
not just believing in organized gaming, but believing in me and what I had envisioned for for this whole organization. So really thankful for you guys that you guys saw that vision and stuck with it until we were sort of getting into a place where we can, sort of sustain ourselves with this.
If you had said anything but that, I think we would have come after you.
Yeah.
Now that I'm thinking about that,
Podcast right here.
you hear Alex cut off mid-sentence and you never hear Best of 3 again.
Can we put like some religious music behind that? Because that did sound very culty.
I don't know if we
I'm
can.
glad that you guys came along and you believed in my vision.
No, you need the Halo theme song right there. That's what you need.
If you guys hear like the tiniest hint of the Halo theme song underneath your whole thing, like people are gonna be like that whole time. People are just gonna be like, "Is that the Halo theme song? What's going on there?"
Make it happen.
It might happen. Oh man.
Yeah. So thank you guys.
You're welcome.
I love you guys.
So I think now's a pretty good time to reintroduce our guest. I realized that when we kind of went into this, we were just like, "Hey, and Chris is here. Let's move on." So, Chris, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself so that the people
And
know
what you're thankful for.
Oh, after that, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So what goes first?
Tell me who you
Thanking
are.
or who I am.
Yeah,
I'm the
dude.
COO of Organized Gaming.
There you go. And like you're such a regular face around here that we
Yeah.
just kind of like, oh yeah, Chris is here too. Let's move on. But I just totally realized there are all of our listeners who have no idea what you are, what you do.
Yeah, that's true. I mean,
What you are.
I was previously on the podcast, but that was for the sample episode.
Yeah, that's right.
And yeah, we're back. Just making sure the gears are running smoothly, that this religion is operating, and
That it grows and takes over the world.
Yeah, so
Exactly.
there's that. That's
The Bible
big
is
part of-
being written as we speak.
Oh my
yeah,
good Lord.
exactly.
Dan Brown, where are you?
But in terms of thankfulness,
Yes, please. Let's start with what you're thankful for in esports.
Yeah. First of all, happy Thanksgiving
Yeah, happy
to
Thanksgiving.
everyone.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Canadian
Yeah.
Thanksgiving.
I hope you get your fill. You
We're a
spend
little
time with
early.
your families, and
A little bit.
yeah, just a little bit. But I think this will be released on Thanksgiving. Is that
On
what-
Canadian Thanksgiving,
that's
yeah.
right. So yeah, number one, esports related is I'm thankful for the spirit of competition.
Oh.
That is essential to esports. There would be no esports without it. So that's brought us here into this industry, and I'm a fairly competitive player. Doesn't mean good, but competitive.
Right.
Competitive in nature doesn't mean you have to
Exactly.
be the best.
Exactly. But you see, that's why I rage on Dota a lot.
Sure.
'Cause I'm very competitive. It's just not that good. So,
Well, and what you're filled with right now is Thanksgiving spirit. Because for you see, Christmas has the 3 spirits, of course, the spirit of Christmas past, present, and future. But Thanksgiving has the spirit of competition. So congratulations, you are Thanksgiving.
yeah, thank
Good
you.
for you.
My turkey's better than yours. And,
How dare you?
Everything is better than yours.
How dare you?
I'm pretty much on the same lines as Alex right now. I'm happy. I'm thankful for family.
Right.
Obviously blood family and the OG family. We're here, we're accomplishing things, and we're just trying to make it work, man.
And so combined, you are thankful for the spirit of competition within your family. You are trying to be the best person in your family.
the very no one ever was.
Yeah, like no one ever was.
Yeah. And so
You can't just take my answer.
I didn't take it. I
can't just take
spun it. I spun it. Yeah, I
He
spun
made it better.
Yeah.
Competition.
There you go.
This is one of the situations where like
Wait, can I go again? No.
Sorry, no re.
GG. That's funny. One of those situations where like you're in class and 2 people just happen to write the same kind of essay and the teacher thinks like, hey,
You guys copied.
you guys copied. No, you didn't. You're just equally as campy.
If it was me, we probably did. So
Probably.
Yeah.
So let's I kind of went alphabetical there. A, C. So next up would be the M. So I'm going to leave Steven for last.
Mega.
You're welcome. And my 2 things that I'm thankful for right now.
tell us, please,
Not
Mike.
quite as how should I say this? Conceptual as yours were.
Okay.
Mine's more. I'm thankful for specific things.
Okay,
All right?
okay. I want to know this.
Yeah, for a specific thing. I'm thankful for auto battlers. because they completely changed my 2019.
Okay.
If it weren't for auto battlers, I think I would be playing Hearthstone. Still.
Oh.
I think I would have still been playing Hearthstone.
And that's a bad
How
thing.
is that game?
Auto battlers or Hearthstone?
Hearthstone.
They're both fine.
I only played it when it first came out. I haven't played it since, so I don't know what it's like
Wow.
now.
Hey, wait. So why is it a bad thing that you would be playing Hearthstone still?
Honestly, because it kind of showed me that there are other games out there. It broadened my interests. And I think I'm really excited whenever a new game or a new esport comes out that I can get excited about.
Right.
Just
Because
more to love.
Yeah, exactly. Because right now you see a lot of sequels coming out for esports and that kind of thing. Like games are always trying to update their game to make it more interesting, and that's fine. But I like the fact that there's still a lot of creativity in esports, and there's still a lot that can be done in the competitive scene, and it's not all taken.
Yeah.
Okay. By the way, right now, Teamfight Tactics is winning in auto battlers. I don't know if I've
Really?
told you guys this yet.
You did. You mentioned
Yeah.
But
that's a surprise to me.
Winning in which way?
That's not a surprise. League of Legends has the biggest numbers.
Exactly, right? And winning in that they seem to have the most market share out of all the auto chess games out there right now. Like they definitely by far have the most players. Their subreddit has double Underlords and like 10 times
Hey, I'm still getting like a sub 1 minute queues on Underlords.
It's still fun.
Yeah, it's not like I'm waiting 10 minutes for a game. Like there's enough players for sure.
But like
You know what it is? It's that both companies don't advertise or market
right.
for their auto battlers, but Valve doesn't market anything of their own.
Right.
And League does. They market League.
Yeah.
So not only are they starting off with better numbers, but they're also putting in advertising dollars. So people are playing their game, and then they're that opportunity to see TFT is greater than Dota. Valve doesn't market anything.
For sure.
But do they have a $35 million prize pool tournament?
They don't need to. Isn't that the sad thing, that we have a $35 million prize pool and nobody knows about it until the day of?
Yeah, right.
And it's like the news hits and they're like, what is this game that has $35 million on it? This isn't Fortnite. Like, what's going on, Valve?
I apologize to our listeners. I pressed the Dota button.
Yeah.
You queued it out.
Exactly.
Those floodgates open once in a while.
Yeah. So the second thing that I'm super thankful for right now, Pokemon, obviously. Obviously.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sword and Shield's coming out next month, and I'm going to play the crap out of it.
Okay, does it not look cheesy as hell?
It does look cheesy as hell, and I
It
love
looks
it.
cheesy as all hell. Like,
I miss the old
Okay,
Pokemon.
but hey, listen. Speaking of old Pokemon, I am going to stream it. Of course, I'm going to make videos on it, and it's kind of breathed creative life back into me.
Nice.
With regards to video content, they changed the typing of it. It's psychic only. Everyone thought it was going to be fairy. I'm hoping that the evolved
psychic only. That's
Rapidash is going
interesting.
to be psychic fairy or a psychic
fairy.
flying,
That's
and
what,
like give it wings and make it a Pegasus. Like, ooh.
That'd be kind
Yeah,
of cool.
that'd be cool.
That'd be sick. Anyway, that's what I'm thankful for. Thankful for Pokemon and Galarian Ponyta.
Don't you have a kid or something?
Yeah, of course. She's gonna love it.
Okay.
She's
okay.
gonna love
That's
Galarian Ponyta.
Yeah.
Why do you think I'm so happy? This is her entry to Pokemon. Steven, what are you thankful
Oh,
for?
God, I hate being put on the spot.
No,
do you
I
mean
can
put
turn
on
on
the
the
spot?
light.
love it.
You love it.
What am I thankful for? Esports related. I mean, I am so thankful for Dota. If Dota didn't exist, I wouldn't be here right now. I would have been either a Smash player or a COD player, or not been playing video games
Or an
that
investment banker.
much. Or an investment banker, or head of sales at Tesla or something.
Yeah, right? There you go.
Something completely different than what I'm doing now. I love that game. I love what it did for me. I love what it does for a lot of people. I love that it's free to play. I love everything about it. It hit me in like the perfect spot. So yeah, I'm super thankful for that. On a personal level, I am really thankful for all the opportunities that have come recently. I've been busting my ass to get to where I am right now, and things are finally falling into place. And I couldn't be more thankful for anything other than that, except for my girlfriend, Jess.
Ooh, shout out.
Big ol' shout out. There you go.
I am
Hard eyes shout out.
Does she listen to the podcast?
No.
She will.
She does not. I tried. She doesn't. But she's helped me a lot throughout what was a hard time. And yeah, I'm super thankful for her.
It sounds like it's kind of been a good year for all of us.
Yeah, we're all sort of share the same sentiment.
Not
Yeah.
a good year. It's starting.
Yeah.
But next year's going to be good.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
yeah, no,
agree.
I'm excited for next year for
Ramping
sure.
up.
Absolutely.
Amen.
I'm
Amen.
Here. I'm here.
Work is a religion. Work is a
Religion, work is a religion, work is a religion. Okay.
I wish we did like choir stuff, you know?
Yeah,
Start
right?
Getting like into it.
I wish this just turned into Glee.
Just break out in song and dance.
I was just listening back to the Sarah Wag episode on collegiate esports, and I forgot you sing.
Here we go.
And work.
You know what? We're actually
a religion. And Mike's gonna
Steven does not
start it
sing.
off.
Steven does not sing. So.
He's doing it right now.
Doing it right now.
and Gaben is my Jesus. Okay. We are going to end it there, actually. On the note of singing, next week, we're going to have Cap Canada on the podcast with us to talk about TwitchCon.
Yeah, that's going to be a fun one.
I say it's related because of some stuff that we're going to talk about then. So
second
get excited for it.
Guest ever.
Our second guest ever. Actually, third. The first one had
Mab.
Marcus.
Marcus
yeah.
from SXT.
Oh, I wasn't there. Doesn't count.
That's true. You weren't there. It doesn't count. Okay, perfect.
Pixar didn't happen.
So, guys, I want to thank you guys for coming. Steven, Chris,
More
Alex.
thanks. More thanks.
Mike,
Y'all
thank you
amazing.
for coming. We're thankful for you.
Thank you. And we want to thank all of you listeners out there. You guys are awesome. You guys have made this podcast what it is and have, given us the opportunities to keep doing that stuff. Just so you guys know, we do also have a Patreon if you guys want to continue giving us the opportunities to make awesome content for you.
You guys are thankful for us.
Exactly. You
Show
can
us a
find
little
that.
bit of love.
You can find that at patreon.com/BO3podcast. You can also find us on Instagram and Twitter at BO3podcast as well.
Give us a shout. We want to hear from you.
Exactly.
What are you thankful for?
Every single week we put out an amazing picture to go along with each of our episodes.
I love those pictures.
I love those. Steven, you do a great job with those.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah. Lots of thanks, man. And we'll see you guys again next week on Best of 3. So you guys have yourself a great day and a great week. I have been Mike here with Alex, Steven, and Chris, and we'll see you guys then.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy
Thank you.
Thanksgiving.
Peace, gobble, gobble, gobble. Work is a religion.
Work is a religion. Work is a religion.